Hello, everybody. weebrabbit here, and welcome back to the Otaku Overlord podcast, episode 60. I know that we both kind of aren't feeling too well, and our weeks were kind of, I don't know, they were busy. There's stuff we want to do, but all the same, hopefully the stuff we talk about is interesting, the podcast goes smoothly, and that's really just it, you know? But with that being said, Legend Jonathan is here. Say hello. How are you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing fine, except for, what I mentioned earlier about not feeling the
Yeah.
best or whatever, but I'm fine enough. And I had a good week, even though it was a bit busy, didn't get around to all the stuff I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do. I still got to some stuff that was pretty cool. So, but that being said,
Yeah.
though, go ahead and take it away if you are ready.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. So first thing I did this week was I did something pretty different from what I usually do. Here and there I just play my video games, on my Switch and stuff. But I actually got back into like hacking it more because, I do hack my Switch. And what was cool was that I was able to add a custom theme on it. And it's like a Zelda theme, which was pretty cool. And it kind of just does is it puts the little icons in the bottom left corner, and you can kind of select the game stuff from there. And what else? I reinstalled Animal Crossing because I have friends that they play Animal Crossing now, so they get back into that.
Oh, that's
And
nice. That's a good
mhm,
reason to get back into it in case maybe you played to a point where you're kind of like, I'm done with the game or whatever. That's kind of nice. That gives you like a new reason to go back in. That's pretty cool.
so I reinstalled it, and I was playing a bit too to test it out because I guess my game was bugged for some reason before when I tried like testing it, and it's because I had I had a mod where it replaces the music with New Leaf music,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, and it was really cool. But I guess since the files got corrupted at one point with like me updating it and a bunch of other stuff, um, whenever I would start up the game, it would make these like demonic noises,
Oh,
like when
I'm sorry. This reminds me of like creepypastas, right?
yeah, no, and I mean for reals, it would make these weird noises, and like Isabel would try to talk, right? And
Yeah,
literally the moment she would talk and she would smile, the game would just crash. That's it. And
that's that's so
th-
weird.
I know, right? And and so yeah, I would crash, and I was like, dude, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, oh, I think I know what it is. I think it's like the audio files. And so I deleted those, and it did fix it because like I booted the game like nothing,
Hmm.
and I was able to progress through like the little opening when she talks to you and everything. And from there, um, yeah, I was able to play the game a bit. Apparently I've been gone from my island for like a year now or
Oh,
two.
nice. Because that's true. They tell you, huh? Like you've been gone for like, and it says like the amount of time.
Yeah, I was gone for like a year, and I was like, dang. And they told me like, yeah, like we missed you and blah blah. I'm like, I missed you guys too. Like I actually did like I was happy to be back. And so I did that for a bit, and it was pretty cool.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. That's
And then
good
something.
to hear,
hmm Yeah, yeah. And then I did the usual. I watched Darling in the Franxx and Urusei Yatsura. And yeah, I'm about to talk about the episodes I watched. And as you can tell, I said episodes, not episode,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
because yeah, last time it was a bit weird where it's like, oh yeah, I only watched one and kind of threw the vibe off a little bit, but cool, cool, cool.
Yeah,
So, which
yeah.
episodes did you watch?
I watched episodes 14 and 15. Episode 14 is called Punishment Confession. Episode 15 is um Gion? Gion? I think it's how you say it, Gion? Like J-I-A
Let me see. I have like the little episode list in front of me.
or Jin.
John. Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question, huh? Yeah, J-I-A-N, John. I don't know. Huh, I wonder what that's supposed to mean. Interesting. Weird. But
hmm
anyway, we get the point. So
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to keep these like short and sweet. Um, I said episode 14 and 15, right?
yeah, I just Googled it. It says John is a double-edged straight sword. So maybe it has something to do with sword, with like some sort of sword imagery or like double-edged or something, right? Because doesn't
Yeah.
double-edged sword mean something too? It's not like a, I mean, I'll look it up as you start talking about it.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. Hold on.
I was in so episode 14 basically oh, I see what it is. Yeah. Episode 14 means that I mean it means basically remember how in the last episode guys how basically Zero Two and Hero had seen their memories and all that stuff. But basically this episode starts off where that left off. And basically Hero's just kind of like, oh my God, like I remember everything now. And literally not even 2 seconds after he remembers everything, he collapsed because he like got too exhausted. And basically the whole squad wants to forbid Zero Two from seeing him. And Hero Two, he rests and the squad visits him and they talk about how, that they that they're happy to see him and all that. And not that long afterwards, Squad 13 is informed that they're going to be in an operation that's really huge, where they're going to get involved with Plantation 9 and other plantations. And not even that long after, basically, they get into argument with Two, trying to tell her never to see Hero again, and that they'll stop her. And basically, they
Oh, okay.
even do.
I think I remember this episode. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I have thoughts on it in a moment. Okay, got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And basically they try to tell her like, no, like you're not allowed to see him, and they even like isolate her from them, like from themselves. Like they isolate her, and basically Hero, you know, he hangs with the squad, but then like he tells them to like, no, like I want to see like Zero Two, and they keep telling him like, no, we can't let you because she's dangerous to you. And they by this point, the reason why they're telling Zero Two not to see Hero again is because they know about the whole thing from the last episode where she leeches off of her human partners. And
Nice.
basically, they say that she's a monster and that they're going to make him into a monster. And so they're saying, like, don't, like hang around him anymore. And by this, Zero Two doesn't really she's not thinking that way. And so she's like, don't be ridiculous. I just want to see him because I want to talk to him. And, I love him and all that. And they're like, no, we're not letting you. And so it's this whole thing throughout this episode about them not wanting her around. And basically, they find out not that long afterwards that Zero Two is going to have to be transferred back to not to the Nine Squad because the stuff that had happened. And everyone, or at least 𝐥𝐤𝐤, seems to be pretty happy that that's going to happen. Hero finds out about it. He's not very happy about it, and he kind of like says like, okay, like, that sucks. And there's a whole thing about that. And then basically, while 𝐥𝐤𝐤 feeds him an apple, he does is he takes like a knife that she left
And
behind and
stabs
escapes with
her.
it.
I was going and stabs her.
Damn thing, yeah. Um, he breaks out and he goes to the little plantation to see Zero Two, and these kids they trust Zero Two to kind of like go see Hero. And basically, since Hero's not in the room, she thinks that they're lying to her. And literally, it cuts to like Hero kind of like trying to talk to Zero Two. And obviously, she's not responding because, she's not there. And he opens the door and he sees that the room is completely destroyed. Like it's torn apart, like the pillows ripped up, the walls are
Dead bodies
clawed.
everywhere.
Dude, oh my
Let's
God.
keep going there. Dead bodies
um,
everywhere. And then he looks at her and he says, good job, Zero Two. I always hate those guys anyway.
but they yeah, like the room's like an animal room. Like it literally looks like an animal lives there basically. And so he's kind of like, what the hell happened here? And so he kind of gets the idea like, oh my God, she must be, with the others, possibly like looking for me. And he comes back, he sees that basically she like basically beat the crap out of everyone. And like she's literally turning like full on like demon mode, like legit. And she's like legit about to kill or like beat up like Ichigo right there and then. And he calls her a monster, and that causes her to like, break down. And that's when they come to get her to transfer her over to like the nines.
Hmm.
And I was gonna say Ichigo. Hiro wants to go chase after her, but then Ichigo stops her and she forcefully kisses him, and she tells him like about how she like loves him and that that she wants to be with him forever. And you could tell literally on this dude's face that he's like really uncomfortable. Like he's kind of just Like, what am I supposed to tell you? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's
That's
pretty.
okay.
That's pretty.
That's it for 14, right? If I remember, that's where it ends, right? Where she
Yeah,
kisses them. Okay, so real quick, thoughts
yeah.
about it. Oh my God. It's crazy. I remember following the show when it first came out. People like hated Ichigo after this episode. Like they almost like wanted her dead, sort of like
Oh
dated.
yeah, no, I know. My best friend, she likes this show a lot, and she hates Ichigo.
Yeah,
Like
which I can
legit.
agree. I mean, she is kind of annoying. She gets in the way, right?
I
I feel
wanted
like
her
it's
to get punched, honestly.
yeah, it's kind of the same problem I felt in for some reason it always comes to the one that always comes to my mind because a lot of people seem to have liked the character, but I just thought she was really annoying. From Your Lie in April, the childhood friend character that's a crushing on the main character, but obviously the main character is interested in like the girl that plays the violin, and like you can tell like
Yeah.
there's a little romance there, right? But like the best friend, childhood friend character, she's always getting in the way, and I feel like it's kind of like that, where it's like oh my God, this character's just in the way. It's very obvious they're not gonna like win, so to speak. So it's like, get out of here, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
especially because like, I don't know, Ichigo just feels like again, it's just another one of those anime tropes of like the person is crushing on, person A is crushing on person B. They know that person B likes person C likes person B. They know they're the third wheel. They know they're the odd person out, but it's always that like, no, no, I'm not gonna, give up. I'm gonna like do my best and like, you know,
Try to win them
I'll
over.
I'll try to like win them over sort of thing. It's just you see that in so many like anime and like other like pieces of media, like Japanese media. I don't think I've ever seen it in other. I think it's always like Japanese media, and it's so weird. Like just like I don't know. You're not going to win them over. Like if B and C have their thing going, I'm sorry, person A, you're not going to be able to just like cut in and like make them change their mind. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
so weird. And luckily it's not like person C, at least here. Person C isn't like you're on. We'll see. Who wins. At least it's none of that. But like I hate when they do that in other like anime too. Where they're like, okay, you're on. We'll see who wins. Like person A is just wasting their damn time, and they're literally like
Yeah.
just cock blocking the whole time. And it's so annoying. But anyway, I was gonna say, yeah, it's unfortunate. Is where we get a lot of the drama that obviously Hero and Zero Two want to be together, but his friends. I mean, at least a part of it I understand. They're worried for him. Like it's dangerous. She's dangerous. We don't really know anything about her. All of us grew up together. She's like this outsider, and look at all her partners. They've died, etc. Like at least I get where they're coming from, but it's still like as the viewer, it's annoying seeing them get in the way and like especially Ichigo and how she's acting. It's so like, you know what I mean? So, oh man,
Yeah.
I remember when the show was coming out, there was like so much vitriol against Ichigo. It was like crazy. It almost made you feel kind of like bad for her because it's like I kind of get where she's coming from, even though she's being kind of like dumb of how she's like executing it. You know what I mean? But oh man, but pretty simple episode. Pretty nothing too deep or anything here. It's just pretty simple, a lot of drama and stuff. So so real quick for
Yeah.
episode 15, which I guess is what you're gonna explain now, it's called John or whatever. Apparently John
Hmm.
is a Japanese, it's a Chinese double-edged sword. So I guess it's called that because double-edged sword means, something that has like good but bad at the same time. That's like
Yeah, that's what I was
double-edged.
gonna say.
And
Hmm.
so yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it's gonna have something to do with like the theme of this episode. So All right, but go
Yeah, that's what
ahead.
I was yeah, that's what I was gonna say that that's what double-edged means that when someone tells you like something's a double-edged sword, yeah, it means that there's consequences that could be either good or it could be bad. And so it's about you understanding that it can go either way. Um, so basically, Hero has to kind of stay behind because Zero Two is not there, and Squad 13 kind of tries to tell him that everything's gonna be okay and that, whatever. And on the other hand, the hero's kind of going through this whole mental thing that you can even see on screen because there's like text flying across the screen and everything.
Hmm.
Um, and the nines, they're like taking out all the Claxosaurs and like the operation from last time that they did talked about. And basically, it's not even just like this gigantic one because it's established that there's like a giant one. It's that there's like a million of them just kind of like coming out of this giant, well, I think it is the giant Galaxosaur, but it's like this giant thing. And basically, they all have to just kill all these, perfectly and stuff. And they meet up with the nines. They tell them like what the plan is, and that basically they have to get inside of the giant Klaxosaur, and then basically this squad, which is Squad 16, they're ordered. I think the code was like code 2.3 or something like that, or 2. I forgot what the code was, but that basically that code means to commit suicide, basically.
Jeez.
And the reason why, because basically for some reason Plantation 13 was where the Klaxosaur was heading, and um, basically they had to do was at the very exact same time, Squad 26 had to basically press a button that would drop a bomb in each of their hands, and that would cause the Klaxosaur to kind of like temporarily like not blow up, but kind of like stop moving. And it kind of does work for like only a millisecond, and then like not even like 2 seconds later, the Klaxosaur just starts crashing into the whole like Plantation 13, and Squad 13 does proceed to start like beating up the thing, starts trying to take out the other ones, and then not even seconds later, we see that for some reason, Zero Two is piloting a what's it called, a Franxx without a like what's it called? What's the name of the guy counterpart? How did I forget counterparts? Um,
Stammen?
a Stammen. She's piloting her own freaking like what's it called? Like Franxx without a Stammen. Like it's by herself.
Wait, but
And
it's not she's not piloting Strelitzia or whatever?
no, she is, but there's no in there with her. That's what I'm
Oh,
getting
okay,
at.
okay, gotcha. They meant she was like playing like a whole different Frank. I was like, that's weird. I don't remember her ever driving anything else. But I get what you mean. She's just doing it herself, as you're saying. I got you.
Yeah, there's no other person. There's no like, Stammen. It's just her herself, and she's basically Strelitzia. It's not even like a person, like a mech person. It's like a straight up like dog or like lion that's
Hmm.
attacking everything. And so basically, you just see this thing running through all these Calaxosaurs, killing them and everything. And when this is happening, Dr. Franxx, he's there in the Plantation 13 watching alongside what's the called Nana and the other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically he's like, oh, this is like a beautiful like Faye, blah blah. And then he even tells Hero, he's like, this is it's so beautiful watching her fight, huh? Like she's so beautiful, huh? And then he kind of says, yeah, but like um I forgot what he says, but he basically kind of implies that like, like he wishes he would be piloting with her. And then he says like something along the lines of, yeah, it's like a shame that she's not human. And he's like, yes, she is. She's not like a monster. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry to tell you, but she's a Calaxosaur. And then she even says like,
Nice.
no, and like that's the thing too. It's not even like a plot twist. That's the funny part too. You would think it's like a plot twist. The way they put it is so perfect because it doesn't even feel like it's so casual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he tells her and he's like, no, no, she's not. She's that. And then he's about to finish it. And Dr. Franks gives him a look that literally tells you everything, like kind of like saying, oh, really? Like you didn't think that the horns and like the fangs wasn't weird?
Dumbasses.
Yeah. And so basically, like he's like, okay, well then, she's a Klaxosaur then, like, that's it. And so he grabs one of those little training units and he runs off to, fight with Zero Two. And bro gets bodied immediately. He kind of flies towards Strelitzia and where Ichigo is. And he tells Ichigo, like, no, I need to team up with you to, stop Zero Two. And and they do sync up perfectly this time, which is actually surprising. But I think it's because in this case they really had the exact same goal to like stop Zero Two and convince her to be on the good side in a sense,
Mm.
and listen to them. And what happens is they do sync up, and then freaking Ichigo starts worrying because she sees his memories, and she's like, "Oh no! Like I can't believe that! Like all he's thinking about is her." And so she starts crying, but then I guess she finally admits defeat, and she kind of just like realizes that yeah, like he loves her, and he's never gonna let me. And so she does end up fighting Zero Two, but only to kind of help out Hero. But she fights her very violently, and like even like kind of like knocks the crap out of the Frank, that she's in. And he does talk to, Zero Two. He gets to her. They do end up making up, and they start talking. And he tells her like that everything's gonna be okay, and that they're gonna explore a new world together and all that stuff. And 𝐦𝐤𝐬𝐽 basically turns Super Saiyan, like straight
Oh yeah,
up.
so I like how it's always like the term, right? Like how do you explain if someone like super powered up? They went Super Saiyan. Like it's just like the go-to term, right? Like why not?
Yeah. But basically, they 𝐦𝐤𝐬𝐽 turns Super, and like they have this whole new makeover. And then 𝐦𝐤𝐬𝐽 basically, here's another Dragon Ball reference. Basically, they pull a dragon fist and like straight up go through the whole entire, how do you call it? Damn, the Calaxosaur, and they blow it up completely. And then because 𝐦𝐤𝐬𝐽 is like, like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, we're gonna go fight off the whatever that we saw in the distance. They go with the nines, and then it's creepy because over there where like they find this thing, there's these little cores that are active and stuff, but it's weird because it has goo in it that seems like it's like humanoidish. And so that's kind of where the episode leaves off, where like they're gonna explore those little cores and stuff.
Nice. So this one, you know, not bad. We got to finally see Ichigo give up, so that's good.
Yeah.
Ichigo being sad, good. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's good that finally she realized it, man. It took forever, but finally she realized it. That's pretty good. It's good that Ichigo. Well, yes, it's good that Ichigo, kind of moved aside, helped Hero reunite with Zero Two. Super cool that Hero and Zero Two finally made up, finally kind of cemented their relationship and powered up their mech to Super Saiyan level, and were really strong in defeating the big bad from the episode, all that good stuff. So really fun stuff. And it's kind of cool that there's like that little like, oh man, what's gonna happen here? Like you said at the end, where it's like that little cliffhanger where it's like, oh man, these cores and all this other stuff that seems to be implying, more of like the world and more of like these enemies and what they really are and stuff. So not bad, so pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice, nice,
And then
nice.
yeah, yeah. And then after that I watched Urusei Yatsura as usual. This time around the episode was actually split into two parts again. The first part I've talked about before. It's that basically that Raven girl, that crow girl, Kuroma, she's trying to look her mate again or whatever. And she uses a computer to like find like the perfect mate. And it ends up being that guy Ray, the ex-fiance of what's it called, of Lum.
Hmm.
And basically, she likes him because he's very handsome, and he listens to her, and he loves her food. But one thing he doesn't know is that obviously, one, he's really stupid, and two, he can turn into like that weird ox bull, like, ox tiger thing or whatever. And so every single time he does transform, they always try to prevent her from seeing it. And so the episode's pretty much the same as the original and like the manga one. There wasn't really anything changed. Basically what happens is that Ataru and Lum get involved as always. What's it called? Rand's involved as always because, what's her name? Yeah, Rand loves Ray and stuff. And then basically what happens is that, everyone gets involved, and it ends with, Kurama seeing that Ray is that giant thing. And so she's kind of like, yeah, forget this.
Oh, I thought she was gonna be
Uh,
like, I don't have a problem with this.
no, she's like, yeah, forget this. I don't want anything to do with these people, like as always. And so she rejects like Ray, and like Ray is fine with that because, he just likes Lum and Ran. And and that's basically like the first half. And the second half I've never talked about. This one is that Mendo, he's getting engaged to that guy, the rival guy Ton. Basically, he's getting married to his sister, and so he goes over and he talks to Ton, and he tells him, "Why the hell didn't you tell me you had a sister?" Blah blah blah. And he's like, "I don't have a sister."
Wait,
And
what?
that's when they're like, yeah, right. And he's like, what? I never had a sister. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? My dad was telling me that like you have a sister and blah 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 blah, and like she's very beautiful, whatever. And it's because it's revealed not even like 2 seconds later that Ton doesn't know that he has a sister because they never mentioned it like since he was a kid, like when he was like 3 or 4, and
What?
it's
How does that
because
work?
because
That's
they hit her. They basically raised her and like they raised her in privacy. That's how I would say. Like
but
they hid her away. They
why?
isolate her because basically like something about how men were like bad people and that like I forgot what else and like it was some dumb like thing
But yet they
and
want to marry her off though to some random guy.
well not random more like the rival family because they kind of want stuff to end I guess.
But
Um
men are bad though. So what if this guy's bad? Right? Like where's the
I know
logic?
right.
I'm not saying there's logic. I'm saying like that's stupid, right? Like okay then.
Yeah, I don't get it. And then yeah, I don't I actually
Let's just say they're super old school and it's some weird arranged marriage. Just leave it at that. Whatever.
yeah, basically yes, it says right here her mother raised her in isolation to keep her away from men and thus keep her pure, which I don't understand. That just I don't know, yeah.
Whatever. The point
Okay.
is, yeah, they just maybe the same thing so that
Okay.
they could marry her off. They don't want her to meet anybody and to cause a bigger problem, I guess. But just whatever. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah, yeah. So basically what happens is that yeah, they Ataro pops up as always
Right?
because
Like
basically because he basically says that if Mendo originally didn't want to marry Ton's sister because basically he thought it was improper, old school, and something about how basically like that feels very forceful, and that Ton's family is their rivals, so why would I do that? And then Atara pops up and says, "Okay, well then I'll be your son, Mister, and I'll marry her then." And then basically that's when Mendo's like, "Never mind, I'll marry her," like saying like I won't
oh
let
wow.
this dick ruin everything. Um, and so they're talking to Ton, and then these ladies in park ranger outfits show up with this freaking mech looking person, like a knight in shining armor, and basically they're like, "We heard men in the area. We need like find them and like kick them out or whatever." And then like the person in the armor starts freaking out, and it's revealed that the person in the armor is Ton's sister. And so Ton is surprised that this person is like a person in armor. And so what's it called? Mendo tries to kill him and says like I'm not marrying that thing. and
Damn.
so and so he says like, well, dude, you're not very fortunate yourself because I just found out I have a sister and my sister wears armor and so she can crush my bones too. And then it's shown that like basically they hide, right? And Ataro is being the creep. He chases after the ladies, and basically this girl, she's literally a track star, like legit, and she can run hundreds of miles and she can do like freaking stunts like nothing. And then Ataru, being, Ataru, he somehow catches up to her within milliseconds. And
Okay.
because of how, yeah, because cartoon logic, that's why. And basically this girl gets scared because this freaking idiot he's chasing after her. And for like a few seconds you can see her face and it shows that yeah, she's a very beautiful girl. And she ends up like freaking out because oh my god, this like whatever that creature is, it's chasing me. And that's when they explain to her, they're like, oh, that's a man, and men are bad and like blah blah blah, but don't worry though, your husband's like the exception and that blah 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 blah. And so she's like, oh, okay, well that's good. And then that's where like the episode leaves off, right? Because I guess
Hmm.
they're split it into another half instead of just like putting the whole episode. And it shows
Oh.
her
Hmm.
face. It shows her face, right? And it cuts off right there with like a pinkish back, like pinkish overlay, and it says to be continued. But the way they do it is very JoJo-ish. Like I'm being for real. Like
Nice.
they put the color overlay and they put like the to be continued in the corner.
Oh, weird.
And-
I wonder why they decided
yeah,
to do that. That's so weird, especially for something that's like okay.
yeah.
Huh.
And so I purposely mentioned that too to someone that I know that they like JoJo because David Productions makes JoJo and makes
Hmm.
Urusei Yatsura.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
maybe they did that on purpose because they're like, hey, we're not going to be able to do like the whole chapters. Could we like how do you call it? Could we like put a JoJo reference? Like,
I mean, maybe, right? If this has been like the first like real cliffhanger-ish, multiple part thing, maybe they just feel like doing that, I guess. I don't know. Weird, huh?
yeah. So that's how the episode basically ends. Yeah.
Here you said okay, it was split in two parts, and then it's gonna continue like, next week or whatever. In the original version, like, how many episodes did this little arc take? Do you remember?
I think like only like 2 episodes, but they were like the first episode was basically the first like the introduction, us seeing how she actually looks underneath the armor, her meeting Mendo, and all the gang, her trying to get over her fear of like and and then basically it ends with like her basically being in love with her own brother, which is kind of gross.
Of course.
And yeah, and then basically from there, the next episode would be something about like I think the next episode after that was trying to continue off of that, where she has to go on a journey to Tomobiki. Wait, is it Tomobiki? Yeah, Tomobiki High to kind of deliver. I think it was Mendo deliver him like food because he's he's her future husband, and then that's when Ataru ruined everything and other guys ruin everything. And so her fear, like she can't get over it, and so those were like the 2 episodes basically. Like,
Huh.
and then from there,
And,
there's just other episodes that kind of have to do with her trying to like, stop liking her brother, and it just doesn't work because get it, like that's funny
yeah, yeah.
apparently.
So here, does it look like they're making it longer then or shorter?
Um, based off the fact they split into like they're gonna probably put the next episode as like the finisher. I would suspect that they might make it shorter still. Either
Interesting.
way,
That's interesting, huh? But all right, cool, cool, cool. I guess sounds interesting. A lot of drama and shenanigans, I guess. Pretty cool.
yeah.
Huh. Alrighty
Um,
then.
yeah, that was pretty much my week.
So Switch stuff and the two things. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, I had two things that we talked about last time, and this is probably the last time I'll talk about them, and then two new things. So for the two things I talked about last time, the first one is that, as I had mentioned last week, I was gonna try to wrap up, Hazbin Hotel. And so I did. I watched the last two episodes. So, 8 episode season, watched all the episodes. And overall, it's fine. It's not like the best. I don't know. Like I definitely feel like it has some issues with like pacing. It has some issues where like I feel like you think things are going to be deeper than they really are, especially when you see like all the speculation and people, kind of come up with all these theories, and then what actually happens is just kind of like, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like its strong point is more of like the songs and like the character design and stuff like that. But I think when you get to the actual like writing and stuff, it's like not that great, honestly. I feel like it's kind of Like I feel like the pacing's kind of weird. We're like, okay, the whole thing is about, there's this princess, right? She's like the princess of hell, and she was born there. So unlike everybody else that's here, she's actually not like a bad person. She's like a Disney princess. She's all chipper and kind-hearted and stuff. And she wants to rehabilitate all these demons and stuff so that maybe they can make it to heaven, because it makes her really sad to see how they exterminate, a big part of the population, right? Because of overpopulation.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's gonna do that. She's gonna have people come to her to hotel and try to rehabilitate them. But then you don't really see that a lot. It's just mostly just character interactions and her basically trying to pitch her idea to different people, including like heaven, because apparently, even though she's trying all this out, she never like ran it by them, which is really weird, you know what I mean? And so like I feel like
Hmm.
most of it goes to that. And then only a few episodes in, there's like this whole thing of like having, at least some of the angels you've met, like, Adam, who's like the first man, but he's like the leader of this like angel extermination squad. He's kind of a dick. He's kind of a bad person. And like, what is he plotting? Because it seems like, there's like this big plot about, the being able to like actually kill an angel or whatever. Like, what's happening there? What's the mystery? You know what I mean? So I don't
Yeah.
know. And then like a lot of things you think are going to be like deeper about like, okay, we're gonna learn more about these characters, character progression, and how they change and stuff. And I feel like a lot of it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're just kind of told that they're changing, but you never really see it. You know, like a lot of
Yeah.
them in it's like, oh, get it, they're better people now because they're learning to like be friends and like not be, I guess, selfish, but like they're still doing a lot of the same other things that they used to do. And like, who
Hmm.
says that they can't like be friends and stuff? Like, obviously, these people live here, and like, it's not like we haven't seen them have like camaraderie. So like, how does that mean they're changing? So like, I don't know. It just feels like a lot of the writing isn't that great. I feel like there's a lot of things you expected in terms of rehab, character progression, that sort of stuff that you don't really see. I feel like it's kind of skips past a lot of that and it kind of just shows like, no, no, it's happening. See, it's happening. And it's like, I guess. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff's kind of weird. And I do feel like it's kind of weird where like a lot doesn't really happen. It's just like a lot of character interactions. And it's not like like I don't know, think about like a Disney movie, right? Best example.
Yeah.
You know how like there's songs, but the songs kind of are there to kind of express the feelings of like the characters, and they still do stuff, right? Like the villain has his villain song where you kind of get to like know more about his personality and how evil he is, but he actually goes and he does the evil thing. Here, it's like the
Hmm.
equivalent would be no, the villain, like nothing happens until like the villain has a song and then he does the evil thing in the song. Or like, let's like the thing I was saying about, oh, the main character Charlie, he's gonna pitch her idea of this hotel and stuff. Nothing really happens. They just kind of just sit around talking about how they're gonna pitch the idea, and they're talking to all these other characters, and then she finally like pitches her idea through the song. So it feels like not a
Right.
lot happens for like the big majority of the episode, and then like the song is where like everything happens, which is like, kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is weird.
So I don't know. That's just personally what I think. And then the humor, you know, it's pretty juvenile, pretty much like a lot of just like, oh, look at these people cussing, look at these people talking,
Hmm.
dirty or
Hmm.
whatever. And I don't know. I mean, like three times out of the four, it's fine. I think it's whatever, I think it's funny. I think it's fine. But that one out of the four, though, is where I feel like, oh, okay, I get it, move past it. So like, I don't know. For me, it was kind of mixed, honestly. Like, it's fine. It'd be interesting to see where it goes because it had like a cliffhanger. They definitely set up more stuff for like the future, that sort of thing. But I don't know. I just was kind of mixed about it. I definitely think it has like its flaws. I think the writing could be better. And I think that maybe they could, I don't know, be a bit deeper. I feel like there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of speculation, a lot of things that people are expecting. And then a lot of stuff just kind of doesn't really go anywhere. Or it kind of just goes for like the simplest route. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine, but I just think it could be better. I just think it has some issues, some
Yeah.
flaws, and I don't know. We'll just see how it goes for like the second season, see if they improve upon it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's fine. So, all 8 episodes are out now. And I did hear it supposed the second season shouldn't take as long. So not bad. So there you go.
Nice.
Then after that, just real briefly, I'll talk about Palworld. I have been playing that some more. I'm up to level 30. I basically uprooted my first base and I put it in a different area that's a little more like well protected, a little more like organized and stuff. So that was kind of cool. And the same, just exploring, building stuff up, playing when I can here and there. And I continue to enjoy it, continue to think it's a really good game. And that's basically it. There's not really much else to say. I mean, I feel like at this point, just about everyone has heard of Palworld, probably seen some gameplay, may even play it themselves. And it just continues to be a fun game. And I just will continue to, chip away at it when I can and stuff. So, I recommend it. I think it's fun. So, there you go.
Nice. Cool.
Then after that, one of the new things I did this week is that I watched the TED TV series that is over on Peacock.
Nice.
Yeah, basically it's a prequel to the first movie. So the first movie, John, he's this guy. We're told about how he had this teddy bear that came to life named Ted, and how they've been
Yeah.
friends since he was a kid. And obviously the first movie is all about him being this adult, and he's kind of a little bit not able to grow up, I guess you can say. He has like a lot of things going on, and Ted contributes to that. And so his girlfriend, she's a bit, kind of fed up with it, kind of putting up with it. And the whole movie is about him kind of growing up and, getting past some of those character flaws and stuff, right? This movie, it takes place when John is in high school, and they do establish that the whole thing from the first movie came to life at some point, and apparently it's like he was off being famous for a while, but it's been like a few years, and now he's like not famous anymore, and so he's just hanging out. And it's all about John in high school and his adventures with Ted and the different shenanigans they get up to. And it's like more of a family sitcom, which is pretty interesting. So we see John, we see Ted, we see John's mom, John's dad. This cousin of his is like a big main character, and that's basically like your core cast. And then you also have some more side characters, and you see like his school life, stuff like that. And overall, I
Hmm.
thought it was pretty well done, honestly. I think it's really funny. It even has like some moments that are like really well done, like more maybe not like emotional, but kind of like kind of like heartfelt and stuff too. And the characters are all really well done. And I don't know, I just really like it. Like you'd have to watch it to kind of like see what I mean, but it's just like really well done. Like you wouldn't expect it to be like that good because like the second movie wasn't that great, and then it's been years since anything that related to Ted came out, so it kind of feels like where did this come from? Like kind of expect it to not be that great, but I honestly think it's really really good. It's really funny and it's really well done, and I don't know, it's just fun too because it takes place during the 90s. And it has all of these like references to like the 90s. It's like
Hmm.
late 80s, early 90s, but something like that. It's just really well done too, where like it's done in a way where it never feels like super over the top. It feels like the way they implement all of this like nostalgia is like really well done. Like, oh, they're going to like the equivalent of Blockbuster and they're renting tapes. And so it's all about, remember, VC, having a VCR and seeing tapes. So it kind of references that. Or like, oh man, an episode takes place during Halloween, and Ted dresses up like an Ewok because like the movie was still, like something that him and John, they like Jurassic Park and Star Wars, and they reference all sorts of movies, and like it's just like a lot of fun seeing all these little references and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've seen some clips from the show, and yeah, I've seen some of the references, and I got them pretty quickly, and I was like, this show seems pretty fun,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it's really,
funny.
really fun. That's why I saw some of the clips first too. That's how I think we talked about it before. That's how I even found out that it was even out. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I
Oh,
checked
because
it
I
out
think I
because it
told,
was,
yeah.
yeah, and I watched it. It's only like 7 episodes. It's really short, but it's really well done. It's a lot of fun, and like all the interactions between the family is really good. And like I said, it even has like some heartfelt moments, sort of, because like I don't know, stuff involving John's mom really interesting because she's like a really like serious lady, but you have like some moments of like kind of seeing some about her, and you know, I don't know, she kind of reminds me of Marge Simpson, very like family oriented and like kind of a square, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And
Hmm.
then even John's dad, who's like this total like, Vietnam vet, and he's kind of like politically incorrect, and he's always telling kind of like racist jokes and like all this stuff, and he really clashes with John's cousin because she's super like liberal and like always trying to be politically correct and all that stuff. There's like some moments between them. There's like a really good one in like episode 5, maybe episode 4, I don't remember. There's like a really good moment between them where he shows that he does have some heart, despite everything. He does love his family and stuff, which is like, wow, that was like really well done. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a really fun series. Kind of reminds me of like early Family Guy. We would be like really dumb, but it would have some of those moments that like kind of called back to like they really are family, they love each other. Unlike, New Family Guy. So it kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of like that, but it's like really well done, really fun. I really hope it gets more seasons and more episodes, and like it'll be interesting to see what more of the John's life during his high school years cover. But I like it. It's really fun. I really recommend it. I think it's a really good watch. So, surprise hit that
Nice,
came out of nowhere for me.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. And then after that, the thing that I played that honestly took up a lot of my time, besides being busy, I was busy too, but then this took up a lot of my time too, that maybe I would have dedicated to maybe, watching some anime or playing, some other, more Palworld, that sort of thing. I played a lot of Persona 3 Reload.
Oh, nice.
Like, Persona 3 Reload just came out, got it on Game Pass. I already had it, preloaded, so I was able to just dive right in. And man, it is really cool. Like, I had already seen some footage here and there. They were gonna like add some stuff, remix some stuff, that sort of thing. And like once you get like to actually play like hands-on, it's just so well done. Like the Persona games have already been like really good and had like a really unique style. But here, it's like they went back and stuff that they've learned over time, like especially with like Persona 5, where it's just like super stylish. They went back and basically gave it like a fresh coat of paint. Like for
Hmm.
instance, one of the things that I didn't like about Persona 3, the original, whether any of the versions, is that once you get to a certain point where your stats are kind of maxed out and you've taken care of the only social link that you can do at night, there's not really anything you can
Yeah.
do at night. It's just like, okay, you have to like go to bed early because there's nothing to do. Or maybe you kind of go and do like a little part-time thing to like get some money, stuff like that. But there's not much to do at a certain point, right? Because there's not many activities available at night. But here they added like a
Yeah.
whole thing where there's like a whole bunch more stuff you can do, where there's like a part of there's a strip mall that you can only visit during the day during other games. That you can totally go there and hang out and do different things for money, for stats, that sort of thing. Like there's more to do basically. And then even to like the big labyrinth area, Tartarus, they added like a whole bunch more things where like now as you're running around, the labyrinth is totally different. Every time you go back in, the layout changes. There's more to do.
Oh, that's super
Um,
cool.
like there's like these little like statues you can break apart, and they give you like different treasures that you can sell. There's like a whole mechanic with like these thing called twilight fragments that you can use them to open up chests. They're almost like keys. That way you kind of replayability of going back to certain floors and trying to like open up those chests that are like locked. There's all these like different mechanics with like, the shuffle time, which used to be like, oh, if you like get a shuffle time, you have like the ability to like maybe get, like extra XP, extra money, that sort of thing. There's like whole mechanics there where like, oh, if you get three of like a certain major arcana, that activates an arcana burst where you get like an automatic prize of like, extra again, XP, money, etc. And not only that, but for like until you leave, like that session, you get extra XP from every fight. There's like all sorts of stuff they added in just to, like keep it interesting and to keep you like coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
some of the like relationships, they, changed some of the mechanics. The overworld they changed a little bit. Some of the navigating they changed. Like, oh man, there's so many things that they changed that it's like even if you've played the game before, there will be like a lot of new stuff to like make it worth your while. You know what I mean? So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So for anyone who hasn't played it, that maybe has watched Terrific and I's playthrough, and you kind of thought, man, this looks kind of fun. I wouldn't mind playing it. This is a perfect opportunity to like, grab the new game and dive right in and experience it for yourself with some new surprises, which is really cool. And if you have played the game like the way I have, it's still worth it because again, it just has all of these updates and quality of life little things and just so much that makes it a new experience. You know what I mean? So either way, I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I think you should check it out. And yeah, there's not really much to say. It's just one of those things where you just have to like play it for yourself to see all the little like changes and differences and stuff. But trust me when I say that it definitely feels like a really good update. So I'm excited to just play more and see more of what there is to experience, But so far I'm having a really, really good time with it. So definitely recommend.
Nice.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's super.
So yeah, it's just really, really
Yeah.
cool. And it's just like, man, it's really cool that they did this. I mean, I'm still hoping for like a new game like Persona 6 or maybe like a Persona 5 Arena. so we get like a little bit more of an update of the story and the characters, that sort of thing, something new. But for now, this is a pretty good, you can almost say compromise, where it's like, all right, I don't mind this. This is like a pretty nice little treat to like hold us out until I guess whatever comes next, because it's just like really well done. And like I said, a lot of like really good updates and stuff. So pretty cool.
Yeah, because that's pretty cool. Because I was gonna say, yeah, I haven't played, like I haven't continued with not Reload, the one for like the that got ported last year, you know?
Yeah, Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah, portable. And I really wanted to continue off from last time, but then other games just kept popping up. And then,
Hmm.
I caught up with like RPG and all that stuff. And yeah, man, I think I'm still gonna play the portable version first and then play Reload. Either way, So I could
It's
get
up to you, because honestly, having played through all of Portable, recently with Terrific, because spoilers by the time this podcast goes up. Well, sorry, opposite. As of the time of recording this podcast, we did finish the playthrough. We got to the end,
hmm,
and we'll see when the rest of the LP goes up. Is what I'm trying to say. I can say that, yeah, Portable is pretty rough, honestly.
so you wouldn't recommend
Um,
just going straight into Reload?
it is up to you. It depends, because obviously then it'll make you appreciate some of the changes. It's kind of fun to like see what's changed, that sort of thing. But it also depends on how much time you have. If you're like the kind of person, you're like, I don't think that it's gonna take me like long enough as is to get through one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth it for you to just go to the new version. You know what I mean? Because I definitely, out of all the versions, I would probably can say now, out of vanilla, which is original, festival, and portable, I would probably recommend festival, honestly, which is still on the PS2,
Yeah.
because just having the 3D models and like the traversal and stuff is just really cool. Portable is just kind of rough looking at it now, because of the whole visual novel style, and cutscenes. It's just like the little character portraits on screen, stuff like that. It's honestly kind of
Yeah.
rough. I kind of like Fez better. Portable's kind of cool in the sense that you have the female protagonist, so it's like a whole other story. So maybe that's what you could do. Maybe you could jump into Reload, experience, the story, have fun with all of the new mechanics, all the stuff they've added. And then if you're still interested, maybe you could play Portable, but play the female route. That way you kind of get a little bit of both worlds. You get a story that's different, because the female protagonist doesn't have different social links, and different um dialogue options and stuff, but you'll still get to experience that version, the older non-reload version. So maybe that's what you could do.
That actually sounds like a pretty good plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that way you still kind of get to play both, you know what I mean? So maybe you can do that, play Reload, and then go back and play Portable later, when you feel like you have the time, and that we can play like the female route. That way you technically are still playing like the older versions of Persona 3, but you're also
hmm
getting, at least it's not like a total repeat, so that could be something to
Yeah.
look into, so yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but obviously it'll depend on how much time you have, and just when you have the time to sit down and stuff. But again, I really recommend it. So hopefully you do check it out, and hopefully anybody listening to this also checks it out. So.
Nice.
And of course, that is it for my week. Just watch some stuff, played some stuff, but I still think it was a pretty stacked week. I still had a good time, so pretty cool stuff. Jumping over to our news, we have three different news stories. Each of them are pretty interesting in their own way. The last one I'm actually really excited to talk about, but we'll get to that, in a moment. The first news story is less of a news story, and I guess more of like a little recap or review of the event. As the title of the article states, everything revealed in the January 2024 State of Play. So there was a State of Play. It was at the end of January. I think it was literally like the last day of January. Yeah, it was the 31st. I just checked. It was on Wednesday. I had thought about maybe doing a video on it, but honestly, it was just okay. I didn't think it was like that exciting. Plus, I didn't really have the time anyway. I ended up like finding out about the State of Play like the next day or two. I actually didn't even hear there was one going to come out. It was actually kind of funny. But
Same.
going over and looking it up and stuff, it was all right. There was some stuff that was kind of cool, I guess. I'm just gonna go in order and everything they announced, and obviously I'll kind of go a little more in depth with the ones I found more interesting. So they announced, Dave the Diver. That game seems to be doing very well. It just keeps getting, ported and updated and all sorts of stuff. So pretty cool, I guess. So yeah, they just talked about, Dave the Diver. So good for it. Then they showed the trailer for Death Stranding 2 on the beach, and it definitely looks as crazy as the first one. I don't know what, Genius Kajumbo is cooking up, all sorts of crazy stuff, but it
Yeah.
seems to take place for sure after the first one. It shows that our main character Sam is a bit older, and yeah, there just seem to be hinting towards more of this world and how the issues from the first one, maybe those have been resolved, maybe they haven't, not really too sure, but for sure there is a whole bunch of more issues. So very, very strange. And they show all sorts of different environments. It definitely looks like it's been a while of, kind of like humanity. In the first one, they were kind of like on the brink, right? Here it seems like they've had some time to kind of get their shit together because one of the environments they show seems to be like a really big city. So like that's really interesting. And
hmm
there's all sorts of different mechanics they show, a lot of different environments. This time around, I didn't see that they're going to be using, the BBs anymore. Instead, like the main thing, it looks like Sam has this weird little like it almost looks like a little ventriloquist dummy that he hangs like from his like belt. Like that does some weird stuff. I don't know what the story is there. It looks really weird, but I don't know, all sorts of like different mechanics and different environments, and like they're continuing with like the story of this world and stuff. So like I don't know what to expect, but it definitely looks interesting. Looks as crazy as ever. I'm excited to just play it and see what happens because the first one was crazy.
Yeah, I played a bit of it. It was pretty fun. So honestly, kind of hyped for that, honestly.
Yeah, the people that say that it had no gameplay, they're stupid. Is it weird gameplay? Is the story
Yes.
super crazy? Yes.
Yeah.
But to say it has no gameplay is stupid. Like walking around and fighting stuff and having to like decide how you're gonna carry your cargo, UPS man simulator, it is gameplay and it's a very unique gameplay. So like shut up. I'm excited for
Yeah.
UPS delivery, simulator, so shut up.
Strand
That
type game.
Yeah, it's a strand type game. After that, they showed Dragon's Dogma 2. Seems pretty good. Honestly, I know nothing about the series. Can't really comment on it. They showed Foam Stars, which is supposed to be Square Enix's We Have Splatoon at Home. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
looks like it's definitely going for something very bright, very colorful, but I don't know. It definitely looks like it's kind of like trying too hard, if that makes sense, right? It looks like, okay, something like Splatoon already exists, something like, Fortnite already exists. And it looks like it's just trying to like capitalize on that. You know what I mean? And then I heard like they use a bunch of AI for a bunch of the stuff. So it's kind of iffy, right? So like, eh.
Yeah.
Then there was a game called Helldivers. It looks like it's like you're like this squad and you're like on different planets and it's like a first, it's like a shooter. It doesn't look that unique, honestly. It just looks like a bunch of stuff I've seen before. So kind of like, eh. Then they showed a game called Judas. This one seems really interesting. It says it's made by the people who made BioShock, and you can
Oh,
definitely
I've seen that.
tell. Yeah, basically it's like it all takes place aboard this like huge like ship or something. And it's like there's like this society and they're kind of like they have to conform to like these norms of like the society aboard that ship. And you play as this main character. Her name is Judas, and she seems like she found a way to like break free of like all the conformity and programming. And it definitely reminds me of BioShock because it's like, okay, it looks like they're kind of parodying some sort of like a society, some sort of an aesthetic. It definitely reminds me of BioShock in that sense. And then when you like when it shows the character running around using powers and fighting stuff, it looks like BioShock and all like the different powers you can use in those games. So it looks like it's definitely has a lot of inspirations from BioShock and like that series. But yeah, I guess it's interesting looking enough. And I'm kind of interested to see, because it is like, oh, it's like this is like a spaceship, and it's kind of like a society, and like I don't know, it looks interesting enough that I'll give it a try, or I'll at least wait to see more trailers and content. But it at least kind of grabbed my attention. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even though it looks similar to like stuff I've seen before, it was still like, okay, I kind of want to see, where this goes, I guess. So, not bad. At least it got my attention. So that's kind of cool. Then after
Nice.
that, there was a game called Legendary Tales, which is for PlayStation VR 2. Looks like you're like a knight and you're doing all sorts of knight type stuff, like fighting and, blacksmithing and stuff. So, like, that's kind of cool, I guess. You know what I mean? VR games, if they're done well, they can be pretty fun. So, not bad. Then there's Metro Awakening VR, which is also a VR game. Seems to take place in the Metro universe. It's like a part of that shooter. It looks all right, I guess. So that's kind of cool. So that's two VR games that don't look too bad. That's kind of cool. Then they showed a game called Rise of the Ronin that reminds me a lot of like Ghost of Tsushima, where it seems to have to do with like, samurai and, you know, just traversing and fighting and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if it's supposed to be different. Maybe because it looks like you are kind of fighting like in squads and like there's some mechanics that definitely look different, but it just reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, I'll be honest. So, I don't know how it's supposed to be different, being honest, but maybe it has enough to be its own identity. So.
Yeah.
Then they showed two Silent Hill projects. The first one is Silent Hill: The Short Message, which appears to be out now. And it's just like this game about this girl, and she's dealing with going through like a creepy environment and getting messages from like her friend and dealing with like trauma and all sorts of stuff. And it looks kind of interesting. But then again, like right after, like I said, since I got to the state of play quite late, I haven't heard very good things about it. So,
Oh, that's
yeah, I
yeah.
hear that it's kind of not great, kind of on the nose, kind of silly, and I don't know. Like again, normal Silent Hill seems like it tries a little too hard. So like, after the weird, what did you call it? What was the name of the other one? The one that was all weird and it was super. You have to like vote on like the changes, and it had a bunch of like game passes, not game passes, uh battle pass and stuff. Basically, like, well, I forgot what it's called, but after that one doing pretty bad. It's like this one seems like also be kind of so it's like, oof, that is not very
Oh,
good.
yeah. I remember Silent Hill is Ascension.
Ascension, there you go. Yeah, so that's like two projects in a row that don't seem that, not that good. So that's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Then they showed off Silent Hill 2, the remake, which is kind of cool. Visually, it looks really well. But the bad thing is that it says combat reveal trailer, and the point of those games has never really been the combat. Survival horror is supposed to be like, I don't know, like the combat's supposed to be kind of janky. It's supposed to be more about the atmosphere, the story, the characters, that sort of thing. And the fact that they're so excited to show off the combat is kind of like, I don't know. And they didn't show any like voice clips or anything. So that kind of makes you wonder, like, oof, what does that say about like the voice acting and maybe some of the dialogue and character moments? So that's kind of iffy, right? So like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say those type of horror games are basically about you like legit trying to survive. Like that's the whole like thing. That's why the combat's very janky because it's like you're trying so hard to actually like survive, that.
Exactly. So, kind of iffy, you know what I mean? And like I said, since the
Hmm.
last two projects haven't done that well, Ascension and the short message I hear is kind of rough. Oh boy, and then the fact that it's like a team that made some games that people were like, oof, those games were really rough. They were like not done the best and stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this goes, I guess, which doesn't really bode well for Konami. I mean, Konami's still kind of in the shedder right now. So like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after that, we got a trailer reveal for Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, which apparently is like I don't remember if it's like a remake or like a remaster.
I think it's a
Uh,
remaster.
yeah, of Sonic Generations, and it's gonna have a bunch of shadow stuff thrown in, where you're basically gonna get like a shadow story scenario thing. So that's kind of interesting, right? Kind of weird. Like, why not just give us a new game? You know what I mean? If you had like these ideas, why not just like make a game that's called Sonic Cross Shadow? That would have been kind of cool, right? But it is what it is, I guess. I mean, Generations wasn't bad. It was pretty cool. And they're adding like new content and, updating and stuff. So like it's fine, I guess. But this makes you wonder why they don't just give us like a new Sonic game that is like Sonic Cross Shadow. That would have been kind of cool, I
Or
guess.
just
But
give us a new Shadow game, because if they're giving us a Generations port, that's fine, but they could have just given us a Shadow game if that's the case.
I
You
know,
know what I
like
mean?
they keep adding Shadow to these games and giving him like scenarios and stuff, like his own like missions and stuff. But it's like they're afraid to give him his own whole other game, which is like kind of funny.
Yeah, because I can get why, because like the whole like, oh, Shadow the Hedgehog, like I know people are gonna say, oh, it did pretty well. No, it didn't. A lot of people didn't really buy the game because of the whole guns thing. Then just don't give them
Which
guns.
is so
That's
dumb.
it. Just
Like,
don't. But
which
even
is
then,
so
just don't give
dumb.
them guns.
I don't know. That game's like pretty fun, honestly. Like it's not the best, but I still think it's fun. I still like had a good time playing it, and like I don't know, man. It's whatever. Like it was edgy, but like just go with it. Like whatever, it's fun. I don't know. I thought it was fun, but whatever. We'll
Did
see.
you?
What's up?
I was gonna say, did you have fun playing to the game like 11 times to get the endings, the different ending?
Oh my God, right. That part, is kind of rough, but whatever. It's fine. There's enough
Yeah,
to keep you coming back. It's whatever. But I was
yeah,
gonna say, who knows? Maybe this will lead into a shadow game in the near future. You never know. So
that is true.
after that, they showed off a game called Stellar Blade. It looked all right. Same thing. It doesn't look like really different from anything. It looks like other games I've seen. Like oh, it's like you have like a sword and you're fighting characters and like a dystopian looking wasteland or whatever. I mean, what looks interesting is that it says it's supposed to be like based on like parries and fighting enemies like to a certain like rhythm or whatever. So like that's kind of cool, I guess. But I don't know. I'd have to wait for like a second trailer. This first one, it just kind of seems like a lot of games I've already played before. It doesn't really stand out to me, but I don't know. We'll have to see in the future.
Yeah,
Then apparently we're getting an Until Dawn remake sort of remaster thing where I don't know, I guess maybe it makes sense since they announced that they're gonna try to make that movie or whatever. Maybe they're like, ooh, like let's put the game back out. Let's give it like a facelift. Let's put it back out. That way maybe it gets more attention, puts it back in people's minds in time for the movie, maybe.
yeah,
Then they showed a game off called V Rising. It's like this little action, RPG sort of thing. Looks pretty cool. It's not like super, it's like isometric, right? It's from like the top down. It looks all right. It
yeah,
looks like you play as like this like vampire guy. It looks like it could fit into like the Castlevania universe, honestly, with like the main character and stuff. So, like that's kind of funny. It looks fun. It's one of those things, one of those games where like nothing enough that makes me go like, oh man, I'm excited for this. I want to try it out. But I'll keep it in mind if I like hear good things about it. Maybe I could try it out. So not bad. And finally, they showed off a game called Zensless Zone Zero. Don't have too much thoughts about it. It's by 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐤verse or whatever, the same people that made Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. It definitely looks like it's just another one of these games, honestly, just a different environment. So it's like, okay, they're making their game. It looks like their other games, basically. Just, I don't know. I don't really have thoughts about it. So, you know.
yeah.
And there you have it,
That's interesting.
guys. That's basically it. Those are the games. It was all right. Those some games that seem kind of interesting, some games that like are okay, like all right. I'll wait to see if maybe the second trailer sells it on me a bit better, like make some gameplay or whatever. And then a bunch of games that I'm just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything stand out to you?
No, not really.
Yeah, kind of thought so. It was just an all right direct. So I mean,
Yeah.
direct, state of play, whatever. So, there you have it. For me, the one that stood out to me the most was Death Stranding 2. That looked pretty
Hmm.
interesting. And then Judas was the other one that I was kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
all right. I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. So,
Yeah. Those two look pretty interesting,
yeah,
honestly, just
yeah.
those two.
Yeah, for sure. Then speaking of Konami, kind of funny, we had a few things by Konami. Speaking of Konami, as our next news story states, Konami establishes own anime studio with Yu-Gi-Oh! 25th anniversary anime short. So yeah, apparently Konami established its own anime studio. They named it the very creative Konami Animation, which like really, guys, that's what you call
Yeah.
it. Could be anything. I mean, in a way it works because okay, it's part of Konami, so they call it Konami Animation. You know, a lot of brand recognition, kind of get it there. But at the same time, it's like you think they could have came up with something more creative, right? Like really.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So, they have their own animation studio. It'll be interesting to see what they do, what kind of projects they tackle. And yeah, they released a little short that I don't know. It's just it's fine. Like the animation's interesting, I guess. A lot of interesting like character designs, a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, since they released it alongside a little Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters event, like the short doesn't really like I don't know if this is supposed to be like hint of like maybe like a bigger thing they're gonna release later because there's just like a lot of imagery, but it doesn't really mean anything. And it doesn't really like go together either. You know what I mean? Like you saw a short, right? It's just like really random. Like it's just like, okay, you kind of see like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. And like that's pretty cool. But then it has like all this imagery of like people and they're hanging out with like different monsters and all sorts of different environments. And it's kind of like, okay, like what story is this supposed to be telling, if any, right? It's like really weird.
Maybe they are gonna do something with that, but they just didn't say anything.
I don't know, but as of right now, it just looks really random. It's just like all these people in all these environments and all of these like
Does
monsters and things are happening like, a demon looking girl flying around and, running from cops in like a city. And then like, oh, there's this like guy and this girl and there's like, it looks like they're like knights and they're like fighting in like a ring of fire. And like there's all these like idol looking girls everywhere and they're like posing and they look happy. And it's like, okay,
that
what does this have to do with like duel monsters, right? Like it's just
everyone
so
can duel
random.
them. Everyone can duel them.
It's so random. Like, is it supposed to be like a world that like, oh my God, it's supposed to be like the world that like the duel monsters would like come from, I guess. But like we know duel monsters don't come from like a world. They're card games. And in the past, they used to be like the spirits of like monster. I don't know. I'm thinking about it too much. The point is animation
Yeah,
looks
bro. Well,
fine. About to see the future, what kind of projects they do. For now, all they have is the short, and they have their own studio. So there you go. Cool stuff, I guess.
yeah.
And finally, this is the news story I was really excited to talk about. As the title of the article states, Jim Carrey returns as Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. Oh, he's
Oh
back.
yeah.
It's like the freaking
Yeah.
little the moment in the second movie. Remember where Agent Stone is like, he's back. It's like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so cool. I'm glad because it was like really weird for a while. For a while there, it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? There's a third movie. We know it's underway, but if Dr. Robotnik isn't coming back, like what's happening then? Like where is this going? It was just kind of weird, right?
hmm
And it was kind of cool to hear back that it's kind of cool to hear that he's back because I don't know, he's just like so good at the role, you know what I mean? So it's just so great to hear he's back. Like some people had kind of rumored, like, oh, what if he comes back, this and that. But he had said that he was retired, and it was like it was just so weird, right? It just left so many things up in the air. So it's so cool to hear that he's back, that he confirmed that at least one more time he's okay, he's stepping back into the role. So like, I don't know, man. That's just so cool to me. I'm just excited.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say too. I'm actually pretty glad he came back. I think that um I mean that depends if they even stop making these movies, which I kind of doubt at the same time. I think he even said that the thing is that like he kind of changes his mind. He'll only retire outside of anything that has to like do with Sonic movie stuff. I think it really is just that he's gonna keep coming back for the Sonic movies and that's it. Or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
pretty
that.
funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah,
hmm
it's crazy because he almost never does sequels. I think he's only done like a sequel like once or twice. So this is the first time that it's like, yeah, this is like the third movie in the series. That's pretty cool. I mean, he never really does that.
Yeah.
So that must mean he really likes the role because he does not do that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
hmm
yeah, it'll just be really fun because he's coming back. It'll be really cool to see how they explain where he went, how he'll tie into the story because we know that, Shadow's going to be a big part of it. And then going forward, it'll be if maybe this is his last time he does it, like for sure this time. I'm just hoping that they set up enough stuff that in the future, even if he doesn't come back, at least he's kind of laid the groundwork for, what can happen in the future. You know what I mean? So like that's pretty cool. I don't know. And
Yeah, because
oh, I guess I'll let you because there's gonna be like a little follow up. So what are you gonna say?
yeah, because then like we all know that okay, like this is supposed to be like the whole thing of Shadow, and there's like a thing. I think you were planning to mention it, but this might just be like the groundwork for like Sonic Adventure 2 probably. And yeah, there's some hints that this might be it. So we know at the end of Sonic Adventure 2 that everyone kind of like celebrates, including Eggman, and that, he's like a good guy for like that split moment. So like maybe this Robotnik might be good for a bit, like for a tiny bit, and then go back to his stuff. So like that's what I was gonna say basically.
Yeah, who knows? Because that happens a lot where, bad guy and good guy team up to like fight a bigger threat. So who knows? That's what I'm saying. Who knows what all of this is leading to, but you never know. Maybe that's what
Mhm.
it'll lead to. Maybe it'll lead to, okay, he has his, big moment here being an antagonist, but maybe if they make something in the future, it'll be like some other big bad, So who
Mhm.
knows? What I was gonna
Yeah.
get to that, yeah, not only did we get confirmation that he's back, which is like really cool, but they also revealed some new cast, which is what
Mhm.
seems to be like laying the groundwork for them opening up more of this world or whatever. So it said that they introduced Kristen Ritter to the cast, which people might know from like Breaking Bad, Jessica Jones, stuff like that. And they introduced I'm gonna be honest, I don't know who this actress is, unfortunately. Her name is Ilya, I think that's how you say her name, Brown, and some other people, but these are like the two like really, really big ones. And people are wondering, like the speculation slash rumors is that Kristen Ritter, people are wondering if they might be having her come in so she could do Rouge the Bat's voice,
Mhm.
which that would be pretty
Mhm.
interesting.
That's
That
what I
would
was
be
gonna say.
pretty
Mhm.
cool. And we already know Shadows, so we already have at this point Sonic, obviously. We have Tails, we have Knuckles, we have Shadow. It would be interesting if they introduce Rouge into the mix, so that would be pretty cool. And then I forget, is the Amy thing a rumor? Was it ever confirmed? Like what happened? Wasn't there like speculation about maybe
There is
Amy
no
too?
there's never been confirmation. It's just been rumors that even then, like there's no like there is no pointing that she might show up either. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
'cause I think a lot of people before the whole Shadow thing, well, may not be before the whole Shadow thing. When the whole Shadow thing got announced, weren't they like kind of guessing that like, okay, the next step would be like to add Amy and then Shadow maybe could take the place of like Metal Sonic or something like that's what they were saying. And right, something like that's what I'm imagining, right? But they had speculated, okay, like Amy would be like a big choice because obviously she's pretty important to all of this, right? Is what I'm something like that, right? I'm forgetting.
Well, I think people were saying that, but they were saying that it would make so much sense because why would they skip from let's say like Sonic 1 and then a 2 and 3 technically? Why would they skip, yeah, like CD,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
Adventure
exactly.
1?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, why would they skip over CD, which is, the whole Amy thing? Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like those games in general, like they can't just skip them. Like it means that they have to kind of introduce Amy, Shadow, and then if Shadow's there, Rouge has to kind of be involved too. And so like that, yeah, it's that basically, yeah.
Yeah, because you never know. Rouge could just be a small part. You never know if maybe Shadow starts like as like a bad guy, and then like same as like the games, maybe by the end he kind of turns face, and maybe they kind of hire him to like join a government agency, and maybe that's where like they'll
Hmm.
introduce Rouge at the end because oh he's gonna be like on the team with Rouge. Get it? They could do that. And then as
Yeah.
for Ilya Brown, a lot of people are speculating that she's going to play Maria because,
Hmm.
obviously Shadow, he has the whole thing with Maria, which is, his, human friend and the cousin of Dr. Robotnik, all this stuff. So a lot of people,
Hmm.
she seems to have like looks that they're speculating that maybe she'll play Maria, which I could totally see them doing. It would really make sense. But then same thing. What if she actually, what if she actually is gonna like voice Amy or something and people aren't expecting it? You never know, right?
Hmm.
And then of course, like I said, there was a whole bunch of other people that they added. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of people getting added to the cast. Who knows where they'll take this? Will it be, more characters from the Sonic universe? Will they just be maybe, background characters? That could always happen. Who knows? But what's really cool is that, Jim Carrey's coming back as Robotnik. They're adding more people to the cast. And the first two movies were pretty fun. So it'll be really cool to just see where all of this goes and how much more movies we get out of this and stuff. So I don't know. I'm just really excited to see where this goes. So really, really good stuff. Awesome news story. And man, I'm excited. Sounds pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun with these movies. So,
Hmm. Same.
yeah, good stuff. There you go, guys. That is it for our news week. But as you can see, a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of stuff that we watched and had a good time with. So hopefully this is a good episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And there you go.
Yep.
No topic of the week this week. Didn't really, have one in mind. Didn't really, have one to share. So this is the end of the podcast. But, before we sign off, just real quick, as we've been doing for the last few weeks, is there anything that you hope to watch or play or whatever so that you can bring it to the table next week?
Um, I'll look into what I'm gonna, you know, yeah. Basically, I'm gonna look into whatever. I'm not sure, unfortunately, but hopefully I pick up something new.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. For me, definitely gonna play some more Persona 3 Reload. Trying to remember if there's anything else that's new coming out.
Maybe I'll try that if my computer can run it.
Yeah, it's worth it. That's worth a try. Yeah, I know I'm gonna look at Persona 3 Reload. Don't remember if there's anything else really big coming out. I think that's like the one for like right now that I was really interested in, but definitely more Persona 3 Reload. And then I'll try to see about watching some anime, bringing that to the table next week. And I think that's really it. Just Persona 3 Reload for sure. I always knew that was going to take up like my time because I was really excited to like play that and like dedicate some time to it. And then, like I said,
Yeah,
maybe just some more anime here and there. We'll see how that goes. And I don't know, there's rumors, speculation that there's always like a February direct, right? A Nintendo Direct. So we'll
hmm
have to see if there really is one. They always kind of just come out of nowhere. If that comes out, maybe we'll talk about that, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, but there you have it. That is it for this week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the podcast, had a good time listening to it. We will try our hardest to be back next week. We'll see how that goes. Until then, we are out. Bye bye.
Bye bye.